there's anything negative about it. I love that our team's going to be talked about. I love that we're going to be one of the favorites in the league this year after having coached a number of little engines that could, you know? It's teams that were all the overachieving type, so I like being viewed as one of the favorites. Dave, this is the coach you cover now. Is this smart of him to embrace here?
Oh, absolutely, Rachel. I'll start with the fact that his boss, Rob Pelinka, at Anthony Davis's introductory press conference said, franchise is all about winning championships. So you better be in line, get in line or get off the tracks.
Right? It's a job you accepted, right? So,
I mean, he's already saying, I think I can.
There you go. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, joined by two of our NBA reporters, Malika Andrews, she who reigns over the Bucks in their region, and of course, Lakers insider Dave McMenamin. Coming up, Giannis has been working on his shot with Kyle Korver. Is it going to work? Stay tuned for that. First, though, so the Clippers have never been past the second round of the playoffs, which is pretty remarkable considering coming up this season, they will have been around for 50 years. But also not so remarkable considering who used to own the franchise and how it was often run. Honestly, calling the Clippers the little brother in town here to Los Angeles was actually an understatement. They were more like a step cousin, which is why it felt like such a watershed moment yesterday when the team introduced Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. This wasn't just about, hey, we have these two particular elite players who will compete for a title this particular year. This was a confirmation that the Clippers had graduated to being the kind of franchise that could smartly compile and then use assets to pull off the exact timely trade they would need to lure the summer's most coveted free agent to pick them over, the Lakers, and have both stars stand up on stage and talk about how the team itself, its culture, its reputation was actually part of the reason they came, a notion that would have been actually out loud laughable at many points in NBA history. I got to sit down with Kawhi and Paul George yesterday to find out exactly how all of this happened. And there's some details you're about to hear here that may make you raise your eyebrows. Take a look. There is a mural of the two of you outside in this rec center we're sitting in. So I guess this is real. What does it feel like knowing, okay, y'all are Clippers now, together here?
It feels great. I think seeing that kind of solidified it, opened that chapter of this new journey that we're going on.
Still kind of surreal, just able to have Paul on my team and even just being back home and playing. It's a great experience. It's probably going to be my first time playing with a elite player on his level. We're on the same age as me. Same talent, and I'm excited to play. I can't wait till training camp start. Get into season mode, put on a jersey, passing the ball. Just talking on the floor. I can't wait. I'm excited.
You guys both grew up around outside of LA around the same time. You both went to those mid-major colleges in Southern California. Paul, you get drafted by the Pacers in 2010. Mm-hmm. 2011 draft night, they take Kawhi Leonard. Mm-hmm. Now they did trade him draft night for George Hill, but what did you think when he got drafted?
I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous just because, we play the same position. Immediately it was like, all right, I need to work on something because they bring in reinforcement in right away. But it would have been amazing to see what we could have did in Indiana and what we could have accomplished.
8 years later, you guys are on the same team. Take me through how this happened. How did we get here? What were the conversations?
You've seen it, I signed and he got traded.
I have the feeling something happened before that. I don't know. Who called who? How did you guys start talking about the idea of playing together?
Well, the idea started, probably me playing in San Antonio and him being on the Pacers, and then, I was trying to get San Antonio to get him over with us. And, how things work with trades. He ended up to the Thunder, probably had a better package for him. But, that's probably when the initial idea started, when he wanted to get out of Indiana.
And what kind of conversations did you have at the beginning of this July?
We talked and just wanted to see what the possibility will be to play together. And then as he's going through his free agency, looking at the teams that he was looking at coming back to LA, it seemed like an opportunity that I couldn't pass up.
And Paul, you stood on a stage with Russell Westbrook just last summer, said, I'm here to stay in Oklahoma City. That was a year ago, though. You signed a 4-year contract. What changed to get to this point where you said, okay, I'm ready to go, I'm going to ask to move on to Los Angeles?
Just was nothing that came out of the blue. We were all on the same page. The initial plan was to give it another year, see what we could do. I did that. We played another year. Felt like we were just stagnant. And, you know, the next thing was, you know, let's go forward and go on with other plans. And again, it was mutual amongst everybody. I think it was just a win-win across the board when we all looked at it and thought this was the best moment to pull the plug.
What was it like, though, for you to talk to Russ and say, hey, I think it's time. I think I'm going to move on, ask to move on?
I mean, it was easy, same conversation me and Russ always have. You know, he was happy. He understood. You know, and he was all for it. We talked as men, and you know, again, he was happy for me, and you know, he wanted me to do what was best for me in my career.
Meanwhile, Kawhi, you are going through, I think, one of the craziest weeks of free agency ever.
Kawhi Leonard returning to Toronto is seriously considering the Los Angeles Lakers.
Kawhi Leonard coming here to Los Angeles,
not the Lakers. This move that he made is interesting.
You had helicopters following your SUV around. What did that feel like?
I didn't know what to really think about it, you know what I mean? I didn't know why they were following me, why a helicopter would be following me, but, you know, it was fans outside the hotel as well. And, you know, they're just excited seeing what's going to happen. I don't know what they were looking for. I wasn't going to come on the hotel and do something amazing, but or make an announcement to everybody at that time. But, you know, that's how Toronto is. We've got an amazing fan base. The experience there was great. Win or lose the championship, I had a lot of fun there, and you know, I said that to Kyle probably before playoffs even started, that it's been a fun year, and whatever happens.
You can't get much better going into your free agency than coming off a Finals MVP performance. It gives you the ultimate leverage. How were you smart about using that leverage in these free agency meetings? What did you want from teams? What did you ask for?
It was just about you know, where I wanted to be, and where my family was going to be happy at, my in-home family. And that's pretty much what I made my decision with. You know, I wanted to be with people that had some pedigree in the front office as far as a coaching staff.
How close were you to maybe going to one of the other two teams you considered?
I was very close, real close. You know, when they presented the opportunity of playing with Paul, it was an easy yes. Let's get it going.
I know the Clippers sort of famously prepared for their pitch to you for maybe over a year. Was there a point in that meeting where they knew some detail about you, where they told you something that made you smile and feel like, wow, they really want me here?
You know, just showing, talking to me about the games they, you know, came and watched me play, and, you know, little things like that, and seeing what I thought at these certain moments when, you know, I thought that nobody was watching. And it just made me realize, like, wow, they really were watching me. They wanted me to come and play for the organization. And that kind of made me just feel like it was the right decision to make.
You guys have both talked about your families. They're sitting in this room. Paul, your mom with her health hasn't been able to travel. What does it mean to you to have that phone call that said, okay, the trade went through, we're going to go home. We saw you celebrating with one of your friends. I'm going home, I'm going home.
Where we going, cuz? We coming home. We coming home.
Why does that mean so much to you out here?
It just means a lot. You know, my parents, my mom and dad, both, ever since I was little, watched all my games and made it to every game. When I was in Fresno, they'll make a 3-hour drive on every game day to come see me play. They've been just super supportive. So I think at this point in my career, that's me giving back to them, you know, that they can continue on what they started with catching every game and being there in full support. And they know the love I have of being back home and being here. And for me to have them there on a nightly basis, it's just special everywhere you look at it.
You guys are here now, but you made a big deal in your press conference. It's the culmination of something, it's the beginning of something. A Kawhi Leonard team, a Paul George team, what kind of team is that?
Playing hard on both ends of the floor, unselfish, doing what it takes to win. You're going to see us compete on the defensive end for sure.
Grit, toughness and grit.
Summer League, yeah. Look that way.
So much to unpack from that conversation. We will dive deeper into Paul George's comments on leaving OKC a little later in the show because Thunder GM Sam Presti had something to say about them. But you did just hear them talk about, at the end there, Paul George and a Kawhi Leonard team would look like.